Hi everyone, Patrick Marks here. Thanks for watching. Today's topic, Dorothy Bland takes a walk, racism in America, and Dr. Ben Carson. On October 24, 2015, Dorothy Bland, who's African American, took a power walk in her upscale Texas neighborhood. Two white police officers stopped by and said it would be safer for her if she would walk on the other side of the street so that she could see oncoming traffic. In the video, both the officers and Miss Bland appear to be very relaxed. They're talking about walking in the rain and how one of the officers has a dog that doesn't like to walk in the rain. Miss Bland shakes hands with the officers and then goes across the street so that she's walking on the other side to see oncoming traffic, just as they suggested. But later, Miss Bland wrote an editorial about her experience. Miss Bland says that she felt like the encounter was unnecessary, that it was really racial profiling, and maybe she'd just been stopped because she was simply walking while black. It's difficult to see how this encounter could really be racial profiling because Miss Bland was wearing both a hoodie and gloves, and the officers were approaching her from behind, so they couldn't see what her race was when they were driving up behind her. But doesn't it make sense that Miss Bland might have felt threatened? Because isn't it true that we've had a whole lot of negative encounters between white police officers and African Americans in this country? But doesn't it also make sense that those two white officers were simply doing their jobs too? After all they were saying was, hey, would you walk on the other side of the road because we'd rather give you a warning than have to fill out all the paperwork for a hit and run. So why could it be that Miss Bland might have thought this was about race? And why would these two white police officers have to defend themselves when the video seems to show everybody being polite? Well, when you consider the history of racism in America, it makes sense why some people might get suspicious. And besides all that, even a courteous stop by any police officer is bound to give you an adrenaline rush. I mean, honestly, I've been stopped by white police officers and African American police officers, and in both cases, I've had a serious adrenaline rush go up my spine. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I see the flashing red and blue lights in my rearview mirror, it makes my stomach drop. In fact, I once worked for 2 years at a high school in East LA that was less than 10% white. And I remember being stopped by an African American in that neighborhood as I was walking down the street. He was seriously concerned about my safety because I was a white man walking in a black neighborhood. In fact, he was so worried about me, he insisted that I get in the car and he'd take me the rest of the way down to the high school because he was afraid I might get killed. So I know what it feels like to be walking while white. So honestly, this whole racism thing really sucks for everybody. Why does a hardworking, successful African American woman have to be worried about whether or not a stop was racially motivated? Why do a couple of hardworking white cops have to worry about whether or not stopping somebody to do a safety check is going to cause them to be accused of racism? It's because certain voices in this country have seriously stoked the fires of racism. And maybe some people are using those fires as an excuse to get rowdy and riot. Or maybe they're just scared and frustrated because there really are racists in America, and American history is just ugly with racism and bigotry. So maybe every single one of us needs to start thinking differently. Maybe we all should start letting go of the past and start making a better future. I like the way Dr. Ben Carson summed it up. Now, if you're behind the times, Dr. Carson is a retired neurosurgeon that's currently running for President of the United States. And he said this: "We have purveyors of hatred who take every single incident between people of two races and try to make a race war out of it and drive wedges into people. And this does not need to be done." I believe Dr. Carson is 100% correct. This does not need to be done. Dr. Carson went on to say that when he operates on the brain of a person, he is operating on the thing that makes a person what they are. And the brain looks the same underneath your skull cap no matter what you look like on the outside. This is why I think Dr. Carson is an awesome guy, and I think he would make a fantastic president. Because it's not your skin or your hair or your height or your gender that makes you who you are. Under all this exterior window dressing, we're all the same. In fact, the Bible says that every single human being on the planet is directly related. All of us are direct descendants of a guy named Adam. In fact, scientists know that human beings are all of one type. This is why human beings are all scientifically classified the same way, Homo sapien sapien. Scientists also know that skin color and hair color are all controlled by one single pigment called melanin. And everybody has the same melanin in their skin cells. Some have more, some have less. So scientifically speaking, we're really all the same color. We're just shades of the same color. Now the Bible says in Acts chapter 17 verse 26 that God made from one man every nation of man to live throughout the earth. This means there is only one race, the human race. The Bible teaches that every human being is created in the image of God. Every human being deserves dignity and care regardless of their exterior appearance. I think the answer is that we need to promote the truth, the biblical truth, that every single human being is descended from one person. We are all one blood, and we need to remember that. And that's true no matter what percentage of melanin you have in your skin. Let's promote the truth that we should care for others the way we want them to care for us. That's what Jesus said. Well, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and share this video too. Don't forget to be good, don't do anything evil, and we'll see you next time.